The story of Dr. Sleep begins by a peaceful lake, where a young girl named Violet meets a mysterious woman named Rose, who wears a magician's hat. Rose performs a small trick, inviting Violet to pull a flower from her seemingly empty hat. But before Violet can enjoy the moment, a group of strangers closes in, making her nervous. Just as Violet tries to leave, Rose grabs her arm, and the strangers surround her.
You are a special little thing, aren't you?
The scene then shifts to young Danny Torrance, riding his tricycle through the eerie, empty halls of the Overlook Hotel. When he stops by room 237, the door creaks open, revealing a terrifying woman who begins to approach him. Startled, Danny wakes up in his own bed from this nightmare and heads to the bathroom, but he sees the same woman in the tub, staring at him. Frightened, he shuts his eyes tightly until his mother, Wendy, arrives to comfort him. Wendy begs him to speak, worried because he hasn't talked since they left the haunted hotel, but Danny remains silent. The next morning, Danny sits quietly on a bench when he meets Halloran, the Overlook's former chef. Halloran speaks to Danny through telepathy, sharing memories of when he first discovered Danny's special ability, called the Shining. However, Danny confides that he's scared to use his Shining, worried that the hotel's ghosts will find him. Halloran warns Danny that some supernatural beings hunger for the energy of those who shine, but he also teaches Danny a trick, visualizing a locked chest in his mind to trap the ghosts. Suddenly, Wendy appears, and Halloran disappears. She embraces Danny, not noticing a missing poster of Violet pinned to a nearby board. That night, Danny bravely goes to the bathroom and faces the ghostly woman in the tub. He imagines the Overlook's snowy maze, where he constructs a mental chest to trap the ghost. As the chest locks, the ghost vanishes, and Danny finally speaks to his mother again. Years later, Danny, now an adult, wakes up beside a woman he met in a bar. Seeing his wallet is empty, he takes some money from her purse. Just as he's about to leave, her small child appears, confused and searching for his mother. Haunted by the memory of Halloran's ghost, Danny reconsiders his choice and leaves some cash behind. Meanwhile, a beautiful teenage girl named Andy meets a man through a chat room, only to use her power to make him fall asleep so she can steal from him. She's spotted by Rose and her partner Crow Daddy, who quickly realize Andy has a gift they could use. Rose grabs Andy, who attempts to use her power to escape but finds it's no match for Rose's strength. In New Hampshire, a little girl named Abra is celebrating her birthday. She watches a magician make cutlery stick to his face and claims she can do it too. Later, Abra's parents are stunned to find spoons stuck to the ceiling, impressed but also uneasy at their daughter's mysterious ability. Elsewhere, Danny arrives in a new town, hoping for a fresh start. He meets Billy Freeman, a kind stranger who senses Danny's troubled spirit and helps him find a place to stay. Grateful for the support, Danny begins a new chapter in his life. Meanwhile, Rose initiates Andy into her group, the True Knot, a band of powerful beings who feed on the essence of people with the Shining. Grandpa Flick introduces Andy to their way of life, sharing with her the life-giving steam of Violet, the girl they had taken earlier. Andy screams as she absorbs Violet's essence. One night, Danny experiences a terrifying vision of the woman he met at the bar, appearing as a ghostly figure. She holds her child, warning Danny that no one has discovered their bodies. Shaken, Danny seeks help from Billy, who takes him to an AA meeting. There, Danny meets Dr. John, a kind doctor who later offers him a job at a hospice. In the hospice, Danny uses his Shining to help dying patients find peace in their final moments. One day, Danny sees the word hello mysteriously written on his wall, and he responds with, "Hi." Far away, young Abra laughs, realizing she's found a friend who can communicate like she does. 8 years later, Danny has settled into his life and earned a special sobriety chip in AA. He continues working at the hospice, comforting patients, and occasionally writing messages back and forth with Abra, who is now a teenager. One day, Crow Daddy informs Rose that they've located a powerful shiner in Iowa, a boy named Trevor. The True Knot captures Trevor after his baseball game and drains his essence, or steam, to sustain themselves. Meanwhile, across the country, Abra senses Trevor's terror and cries out in her mind for them to stop. Her shout reaches Rose, who is shocked and confused by the strength of Abra's shining. Danny, sensing Abra's distress, wakes to find the word murder carved into his wall, followed by Abra's message, baseball boy. Determined to help, Abra starts searching for missing children online, hoping to find Trevor's case. When she discovers a lead, she uses her abilities to look deeper, seeing visions of the True Knots camp and their dark rituals. Her search even leads her to Rose, whom she confronts in a mental battle. Although Abra succeeds in pushing Rose out of her mind, she realizes that she's gained a powerful enemy. That evening, Rose shares her encounter with Abra with Crow Daddy, who suggests they might turn Abra into one of them. Rose, however, dismisses the idea. Meanwhile, Abra, who skipped school, takes a bus to find Danny. She believes he has abilities like hers and calls it magic, though Danny corrects her, calling it the Shining. Abra speculates that the mysterious group, the True Knot, is feeding on people's shines, like Trevor's. Despite Abra's desire to find Trevor so his family can bury him, Danny warns her not to use her shining powers, fearing it will make her more vulnerable to detection. Later that night, Danny encounters Azrael, the hospice's cat, outside an empty room. When he checks inside, he sees a dark figure and quickly uses a mental trick to lock it away, only to realize it's Halloran's ghost. Halloran warns Danny that the True Knot is after Abra, advising Danny to help her and heed her request. At the same time, in their camp, Rose attempts to track Abra. Her spirit travels over miles until she finds Abra's room. But as Rose opens one of Abra's mental drawers, it suddenly slams shut, trapping her hand. Abra confronts her as a ghostly figure, frightening Rose by taking control and even peeking into Rose's own memories. Rose manages to free herself, shaken by Abra's unexpected strength. Meanwhile, Abra reaches out to Danny telepathically, informing him that she was in Rose's mind, and Danny realizes he must help her. At the same time, Grandpa Flick begins to deteriorate. Andy is shocked, as she thought they were immortal. Rose clarifies that longevity depends on the quality of steam they consume. Danny decides to bring his friend Billy into his confidence, explaining the truth about the True Knot and his own past. Together, Danny and Billy drive while Abra communicates with them telepathically. To demonstrate her power, Abra enters Danny's mind, showing him her memories and observing his own. As the True Knot prepares to hunt Abra, Crow Daddy suggests Rose should stay behind, fearing her connection to Abra could be a liability. Danny, Billy, and Abra follow her clues and discover Trevor's body in a secluded area, proving the reality of Abra's visions. Abra's father, initially skeptical, is finally convinced after Abra shows him what she witnessed. Although he considers calling the police, Danny warns him that law enforcement will be ineffective against the True Knot's powers. Abra, using Trevor's glove, tracks Barry and sees the True Knot traveling without Rose. Danny, Billy, and Abra set a trap in the woods, where the True Knot confronts what they believe to be a helpless Abra. Andy places Abra in a trance and moves in to sedate her, only to find she's been tricked by a decoy doll. Hidden in the trees, Danny and Billy open fire on the True Knot members. Rose, feeling their deaths from afar, screams in agony. Only Andy survives, hiding in their vehicle. However, even after she gets discovered and shot, Andy manages to hypnotize Billy into taking his own life before Danny can reach him.
No! Billy!
Suddenly, Crow Daddy, who had sneaked into Abra's house, captures her and drives away, leaving her father's lifeless body behind. Abra awakens in the car, weakened by a sedative that prevents her from calling for help. When Danny finally connects with her mind, he temporarily takes control of Abra's body, taunting Crow Daddy for not wearing a seatbelt and telekinetically swerving the car off the road, fatally injuring Crow Daddy in the crash. Upon Crow Daddy's death, Rose, now desperate, consumes all the remaining steam she has to increase her strength. The next morning, Danny reunites with Abra and suggests they need a plan to defeat Rose. They decide to lure her to the Overlook Hotel, a place with dark power that might weaken her. Abra agrees, leaving a farewell message for her mother, who has just returned home. As night falls, Danny and Abra arrive at the abandoned Overlook Hotel. Danny turns on the power, reactivating the boiler and other utilities. He explores the eerie, familiar halls. He even visits the iconic bar, where he encounters a bartender who looks like his father, Dan Torrance. The ghostly bartender tempts him to drink, but Danny resists, affirming his sobriety. His refusal angers the ghost, who vanishes. Rose arrives and sees the unsettling vision of blood flooding from the hotel's elevator. When she enters the lobby, Danny and Abra confront her, using their powers to pull her into a mental trap resembling the Overlook's snowy maze. Rose follows Abra's footprints, only to be ambushed by multiple copies of Abra, each inflicting painful attacks. Realizing she's been tricked, Rose breaks free, snapping back to reality in the hotel. In a final showdown, Danny, wielding an axe, confronts Rose, who attempts to lure him by offering to share her power. She taunts him for his struggles, but Danny swings the axe, wounding her. Rose retaliates, injuring him and consuming his steam, seeing visions of his past, including his father's descent into madness at the Overlook.
What are you hiding, huh?
But just as she probes further into Danny's memories, he intentionally releases the ghosts he has locked away, unleashing the hotel's spectral residents. Soon enough, the hungry ghosts swarm Rose, consuming her life force until she fades away. But with Rose gone, the hotel's spirits turn on Danny, overpowering him. Possessed, he goes after Abra. Danny, under the spirit's control, menaces Abra with an axe, but Abra appeals to his true self, reminding him of his duty to destroy the hotel. In his final act of resistance, Danny regains control long enough to reach the boiler room. Though the hotel's ghosts try to stop him, he forces the boiler to overheat, sacrificing himself as flames will engulf the Overlook. Danny then kneels on the floor of the boiler room, watching as flames engulf the walls. Just then, the ghost of his mother appears beside him. Meanwhile, Abra steps out of the burning hotel, leaving behind the inferno consuming it. Later on, Abra finds herself back home. Sitting across from her, Danny's spirit gently apologizes for drawing her into such danger. Abra reassures him, understanding that there was no other choice. She wonders aloud if Rose was truly the last of the true knot. Danny's ghost answers, noting that while the world harbors plenty of darkness, there are likely others out there with powers like hers. Abra's mother enters, overhearing Abra's conversation and asking whom she's talking to. Abra hesitates, then admits the truth. She was speaking with Danny. Her mother finally accepts Abra's abilities. Turning toward the bathroom, Abra sees the figure of the ghostly woman in the tub. Abra walks into the bathroom and closes the door behind her. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.